working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Good evening, I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching ASEAN in Focus on tonight's headlines. Tragedy struck today at a training range in central Japan as a fellow recruit opened fire, resulting in the death of 2 soldiers and an injury of a third, according to military officials. News update from Malaysia. The country is set to seek assistance from Interpol in locating a U.S. comedian who made a controversial joke about the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. The joke has caused widespread fury, prompting a public apology from Singapore. And today, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, expressed concerns about the impact of falling water levels at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. He described the situation as a step in the wrong direction, further weakening the safety net of the nuclear power plant. Also tonight, we have a special segment dedicated to the 125th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence, as the Philippine Embassy in Thailand joins the nation in honoring this occasion. We also invite you to take a journey back in time, because tonight we will revisit an enlightening segment that was originally aired in 2021 during the 103rd anniversary of the Philippine independence. Tragedy struck today at a training range in central Japan as a fellow recruit opened fire, resulting in the death of 2 soldiers and the injury of a third, according to military officials. The Ground Self-Defense Force, or GSDF, issued a statement confirming the incident, stating that during a live bullet exercise as part of new personnel training, 1 Self-Defense Forces candidate fired at 3 personnel. The GSDF later updated the information, confirming the death of a second person who was shot along with 2 injuries. The suspect, an 18-year-old SDF candidate, was swiftly detained by other soldiers at the scene, as reported by local police. The suspect now faces charges of attempted murder in relation to a 25-year-old soldier. National broadcaster NHK reported the wounded were a man in his 50s and 2 other men in their 20s. Japan is known for its low rates of violent crime and strict gun control. However, this incident follows a series of high-profile incidents over the past year that have shaken the country. In July 2022, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot dead during his campaign trail, allegedly targeted due to his ties to the Unification Church. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida also narrowly escaped harm in April when an explosive device was thrown towards him at a campaign event. These incidents have led to calls for increased security measures in the country. And we bring you a news update from Malaysia. The country is set to seek assistance from Interpol in locating a U.S. comedian who made a controversial joke about the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. The joke has caused widespread fury, prompting a public apology from Singapore. Jocelyn Chia, who performed the joke during a set at the Comedy Cellar in New York City, touched on the historically strained relationship between Malaysia and Singapore, where she was raised. MH370, which went missing in March 2014, remains one of Malaysia's most tragic aviation incidents, with all 239 people on board presumed dead. Following the outrage sparked by Chia's joke, Malaysian authorities initiated an investigation under incitement and offensive online content laws. Malaysia and Singapore were once a unified state after the end of British colonial rule, but separated in 1965. Chia, who has Singaporean roots, remarked during her routine that Singapore had become a first world country while joking about the ability of Malaysian Airlines to fly. The joke drew swift condemnation on social media and from top Malaysian officials, including the foreign minister. Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan expressed his dismay on Twitter, apologizing for any offense and hurt caused to Malaysians. Despite the intense backlash, Chia has stood by her joke, asserting that she has performed it numerous times without any issues. In an interview with CNN, she defended her joke within the context of a comedy club, but acknowledged the risks associated with it being viewed outside of that setting. Chia's defiance continues even in the face of Malaysia's decision to involve Interpol. She took to Twitter, expressing curiosity about the reaction of the Interpol officer who received the request. And today, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, expressed concerns about the impact of falling water levels at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. In a press conference held earlier in Kiev, Grossi described the situation as a step in the wrong direction, further weakening the safety net of the nuclear power plant.
One of the most important safety features in a nuclear power plant is cooling the reactors. One of the main sources of cooling is the water, which is taken from the river, accumulated in a reservoir, passed to channels that help cool the reactors. Of course, with the destruction of the dam, the levels of the river and of the reservoir are falling down quite steadily, and there is a limit after which we could not be able to pump water to this reservoir and the channels, which means that we would be left with the water we have inside. Indeed, as I have said already from Vienna, this would not necessarily be a cause for immediate danger, but it is a serious situation because you are limited to the water you have there. If there was a break in the gates that contain this water or anything like this, you would really lose all your cooling capacity from this water. So this is why I want to make my own assessment. I want to go there, discuss with the management there what measures they are taking, and then make, as I say, a more definitive assessment of what kind of danger we have. But it is a step in the wrong direction. It is yet another step into the weakening of the safety net that one has in any nuclear power plant.
The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. It has 6 reactors and is capable of generating up to 6,000 megawatts of electricity. The plant was captured by Russian forces in February 2022. The IAEA has been unable to send inspectors to the plant since then.
This is yet another issue that I need to discuss there, because these 6 reactors, 5 are in what we call cold shutdown, so operating in a very low regime, and 1 is still in hot shutdown, which means it's operating at a slightly higher level to produce some steam which is needed to perform some safety functions. So there is a discrepancy. Yet again, another unwanted situation deriving from this anomalous situation we have at the plant. So this is an evolving situation, and we are very also concerned about that, and we are looking into this, and we are talking to staff. For security reasons, we cannot reveal a lot about this, but this is an issue that we are in active discussion with both sides, yes.
The current situation has raised alarms within the global nuclear community, as maintaining a robust safety net is paramount to the operation of any nuclear power plant. An important news update from Malacanang regarding the fight against malnutrition and stunted growth among children in the Philippines.
The President approved the run of the pilot, which is fully funded through grants. Grants from the ADB, JICA, and the French Development Agency. So that will be $3 million all in all. There's a provision to expand it. ADB is still working on other trust funds so that we can expand the pilot. But other than that, it's all green lights go na for the pilot, which will take place shortly. From the pilot, we will see the nuances, what needs to be improved, what needs to be enhanced, what needs to be discontinued. It'll run for 6 months. We are doing the pilot so that we don't end up with wasteful spending. We want to make sure that when we do expand the program on its regular run, even if the president already approved it, we want to learn from the pilot and we want to start right. That was the takeaway. Speaking with the economic team last Friday, the main takeaway was tighten the design. Importante, we start the program right.
And this is very important, I told the president. Most of this feeding program isn't recovered, the effects of malnutrition and stunting, you don't recover it like a wound that heals. It's a permanent. That's why if you want a human capital or mga tao, citizens na magtatrabaho and they're intelligent, they will pass school, you really need to feed them well during their early life years kasi dun yung growth and development.
Pero ang gusto ng Pangulo natin is to add that dimension of stunting into the picture kasi irreversible yon. And ulitin ko, this is an investment to human capital. So if we are to invest in human capital, we have to fight stunting. Yan yung...
And another momentous celebration as the Philippine Embassy in Thailand joins the nation in commemorating the 125th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence and nationhood. Under the theme Kalayaan, Kinabukasan, Kasaysayan, or Freedom Future History, this significant event pays homage to the hard-fought freedom our forebears envisioned and the history that serves as a testament to their courage and sacrifice. Veronica Carino reports from Bangkok.
The 125th Philippine Independence Day celebration in Bangkok, Thailand showcased Filipino culture, arts, fashion, and food. Dignitaries from different embassies, together with their loved ones, representative of Filipino communities, Filipino artists, and performers attended the gathering in Anantara Siam Bangkok Hotel. Ambassador Millicent Cruz Paredes formally opened the celebration by delivering her speech in which she invited the visitors to visit and see the beauty of the Philippines. The Philippine national anthem Lupang Hinirang was sung, followed by the singing of Thailand's national anthem. Minister of Public Health of Thailand and Deputy Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul also delivered his speech as the night's guest of honor. He mentioned about the 3 Ps: people, principle, and prosperity. He also added that Thailand is determined to work closely with the Philippines to deepen the cooperation on the issues of mutual interests such as food, security, education, health, and digital economy. The ballroom was filled with applause as selected teachers performed some famous folk dances such as Maglalatik, Tinikling, Sayaw sa Bangko, and Singkil. Art pieces by Filipino artists were sold out, and various Filipinas by Filipino fashion designers graced the event. Filipino foods such as taho, sapin-sapin, and lumpia were just few of the crowd favorites. The night is a celebration of cultural uniqueness and similarities.
Night with the Filipinos is very special because it's not only that they are celebrating 125th anniversary, because we share a common past with Mexico. Mexico and the Philippines work together. We're just part of the, we have a common history. I just want to say congratulations to all the people of Philippines and every Filipino in Thailand and the Philippines.
It was indeed a night to celebrate the Filipino culture and to be proud as a Filipino.
The event tonight, I enjoyed the dancing, I enjoyed the food and the company of people.
It's a good thing about being a Filipino is wherever we are, we have a lot to offer, and especially the people, the culture, and our values.
Reporting from Bangkok, Thailand, I am Veronica Carino. We live in extraordinary times.
And tonight we have a special segment to commemorate a significant milestone in Philippine history as we celebrate the 125th proclamation of the independence of the Philippines. We'll take you back in time to revisit an enlightening segment that was originally aired in 2021 during the 123rd anniversary of the Philippine independence. Before we delve into the re-airing of this segment, let's provide some additional historical background. The Proclamation of Independence marks a pivotal moment in the country's struggle for freedom from colonial rule on June 12, 1898. The Filipino Revolutionary Forces, led by General Emilio Aguinaldo, proclaimed the country's independence from Spain, ushering in a new era of self-governance and national identity. And tonight, we have the opportunity to relive the significance of this historic event and reflect on the journey that the Filipino people have undertaken over the past 125 years. From the Netherlands, here's Marilu Francisco.
That is the House of Philippine History, home to the Aguinaldo Shrine or the Museum of President Emilio Aguinaldo in Kawit, Cavite, the Philippines. A very important date in the history of the Philippines, June 12, 1898. The place, Kawit, Cavite. The proclamation of Philippine independence from over 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. Historical records say that the ceremony took place between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Philippine time of June 12, 1898. From this house, from one of its windows, the Declaration of Philippine Independence was read. Later in 1900s, Aguinaldo had the window expanded to include a balcony. Meanwhile, the Declaration of Independence, written in Spanish, was read by its author Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista. A native of the province of Laguna, he was also an active revolutionary. The Philippine flag was officially displayed in public while the Philippine national anthem was being played. The historic occasion also marked the official public display of the Philippine flag. Before June 12, the flag was first flown in the Battle of Alapan, Imus, Cavite on May 28, 1898. Some facts about the Philippine national anthem. Professor Julian Felipe composed the music. In less than a week, the work was completed. During the proclamation, the marching band of San Francisco de Malabon, now General Trias, played the national anthem. A year later, lyrics were adapted from the Spanish poem Filipinas, written by Jose Palma. About the president of the First Philippine Republic, Emilio Aguinaldo y Fani was born in this ancestral house on March 22, 1869. Aguinaldo donated his home to the Philippine government to keep the spirit of the Philippine Revolution that helped end the Spanish colonial rule of over 300 years. Fortunately, before the COVID-19 pandemic that began in 2020, my family and I visited the Aguinaldo Museum in Cavite, and it was a great learning experience for us, especially for someone like Marie, who was born and raised outside the Philippines.
Hi guys, I'm Marie Francisco, and right now we are at Cavite. We're visiting the ancestral home of General Aguinaldo. So let's see what his home has to offer to the history of the Philippines.
The museum is found on the ground floor. Get to know the President of the First Philippine Republic and the events leading to the proclamation of Philippine independence. On the second floor are the different rooms, pieces of furniture during Aguinaldo's time, wood carvings that showcase the Filipinos' artistic talents, and photographs, many of which you'll be seeing for the first time. In the middle of the garden behind the house is the final resting place of President Emilio Aguinaldo. On February 6, 1964, in the Veterans Memorial Hospital in Quezon City, President Aguinaldo passed away. In the Netherlands, Marilu Francisco, we live in extraordinary times.
Over the weekend, at the opening of Thailand's very first pet-friendly cinema, we witnessed a spectacle that was straight out of a Disney movie. Now picture this, a fluffy white cat wearing a yellow dress gracefully perched on a cinema seat, while nearby a chihuahua dressed as Sebastian, the crab eagerly prepared to watch The Little Mermaid alongside their owner. And that's not all, there was even a terrier who channeled their inner Ariel, complete with a red wig and a mermaid's tail. Now these four-legged film enthusiasts arrived in style, tucked comfortably in strollers as dozens of pet owners flocked to the outskirts of the capital for this unique cinema experience. The animals had to wear diapers and sit in bags while the sound and lighting were adjusted for their comfort, according to major Cineplex spokesman Narute Chensnong. Take a look.
So it turned out that Bangkok is actually not a very pet-friendly city, to say. So we kind of have inspiration to having the place for the pet owner to come and hang around and have a good time. Come to the office, they have to buy the ticket for themselves and their pets. So the pet will cost them 99 baht per seat. And once they come into the cinema, we're preparing them the diapers. So the pet will wear the diapers and we asking the pet to become in the bag. We providing the big bag for the pet to sit in and then they can enjoy the movie throughout the session.
คิดว่าไม่นะคะเพราะว่าปกติบรรยากาศโรงหนังมันก็จะเหมือนห้องนอนอ่ะมันก็จะมืดๆเย็นๆอะไรเงี้ยถ้าเกิดเข้าไปคิดว่าเขาน่าจะหลับถ้าเกิดไม่ดังมากนะคะแต่ถ้าเกิดมีช่วงไหนดังคิดว่าเขาก็น่าจะตื่นมาดูบ้างเหมือนเวลา
คือจริงๆแบบดีมากเลยเพราะส่วนตัวก็ชอบดูหนังแต่ติดปัญหาเพราะว่าถ้าจะมาดูหนังแล้วก็น้องอยู่ไหนหรือไม่เราก็ต้องทิ้งไว้บ้านก็ปาไปทั้งวันแล้วอย่างเงี้ยเขาก็ไม่ได้อยู่กับเราแต่ถ้าเราสามารถเอาสัตว์เลี้ยงเข้าได้ด้วยเอาน้องเข้าด้วยอย่างเงี้ยมันก็เป็นสิ่งที่ดีเราจะได้ดูหนังด้วยแล้วเราก็ยังได้อยู่กับเขาด้วยค่ะ
And it's no surprise considering Thailand's pet industry ranks second in Asia, just behind China, with a staggering 8.3 million dogs and 3.7 million cats recorded in 2021. It's clear that pet ownership is booming. The pandemic only fueled this trend further, leading businesses to capitalize on the pet-loving market. And it's not just the cinema industry that's embracing our furry friends. In recent news, the Swedish furniture giant IKEA announced that small dogs and cats are now welcome to accompany their owners on shopping trips in Thailand as long as they ride in prams. However, it wasn't all wagging tails and excitement outside the cinema.
ไม่เห็นด้วย 100% เพราะว่าสุนัขหรือแมวเนี่ยเขาก็มีเชื้อโรคของเขาอยู่แล้วนะฮะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการที่เข้ามาอยู่ในโรงหนังซึ่งเป็นที่อับนะมันก็มีโอกาสที่จะเผยแพร่เชื้อโรคให้กับคนอื่นนะที่เขาไม่ได้เอาสุนัขเข้ามา
As my usual habit, I'd like to end the day on a positive note. Let's encourage and build each other up so that no one is left behind. And that's it for tonight's broadcast. I'm Alma Angela. Stay in the news because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.